Meet me. This is Henry. I'm a 40 years old man today. I'm going to share with you guys an eye-opening and life-turning incident of my whole life. But before getting into the video, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more engrossing and nail-biting real couple stories. Let's backtrack and revisit the year 2020 when I got married to Selena. Selena was a 23 years old, beautiful young lady with a glass-out figure who used to work as a sales marketer in a grocery store. When I met her for the very first time, I remember before marriage, I used to help her financially as well because she belonged to a needy family. She succeeded in trapping me by her seductive and attractive looks. And then I decided to get married to her. There used to be 3 people in our house. Me, my wife named Selena, and my younger sister. Initial days of our married life was really good. I remember how we enjoyed a lot. I used to fulfill her every desire. I remember we used to go for shopping. After every 2 days, I was literally giving her a royal life. I gave her a very luxurious life. I used to consider myself very lucky because I got such a pretty and young wife. Our relationship was really good. But most of the times I used to be occupied in my business. She used to seduce me by wearing different dresses. We romanced a lot. One day I reached the house. I came to know from my wife that my younger sister had left my house by saying that she would like to stay in the hostel with her friends. I was happy with my sister's dad, who was trying to prove herself independent and mature. Well, but after 15 days, I got sibling cravings. I called one of my younger brothers who was in the hotel at that time and asked her to stay with us. Basically, in 2018, I caught my young brother involved in every bad and illegal activity. So angrily shifted him to the hostel. But this time I've worn him back to my house. So he returned. Well, I remember when he reached the house for the first time, I was amazed to see him being so handsome and fit. Like I had seen him after about 2.5 years, I was literally very happy with my young brother's transformation. Well, but he was still young at that time and did not want to be involved in any bad activities again. So I used to give him limited pocket money. I remember the night when my brother reached our house, my wife's reaction was really stimulating. I remember how she was continuously looking at my brother and was praising his looks and style. I obviously didn't take anything on my nerves and took it generally. To be honest, at the beginning days after my young brother's arrival, everything was going good and smooth. I remember whenever I used to be at my business's trip, my wife used to contact me, and like most of the time when I used to call her, my wife's phone used to be off. I was just tired of her irresponsible and childish attitude. Even at the same time, my younger brother also didn't respond to me properly. One day when I reached the house accidentally without informing my wife and my younger brother about my arrival, I was shocked to see it was about 3 p.m. of the noon. That time, my young brother used to be at his college, and that was the nap time for my wife. But when I entered the house, I found the lights of like if nobody was at home. I looked here and there but found no one in the house. I called my wife, whose phone was off as usual. I obviously didn't call my young brother because according to me, he must be at his college at that time. On asking the guard, I came to know that my wife was outside with my young brother. I kept waiting for them for about 5 hours, but they did not come. There was no place for my anger. At that time, I finally called my young brother and ordered him to reach the house as soon as possible. I remember when my young brother came to know about my presence, he was extremely shocked that he was not answering me properly. They both reached the house exactly after 10 minutes when I called him. I remember when they reached the house, they began to pretend like siblings and told me that they were outside together as they were buying the gifts for me. Blah, blah. In spite of getting angry at them, I became happy after realizing that we treat you with living a happy household family together. But with time, I realized that something must be wrong or unusual between my wife and my young brother. It was a Saturday night. I was very excited to spend time with my wife because I got free from my work outside a long time. Well, I ordered some good food and asked my young brother to join us in eating. We were eating my wife's favorite pizza peacefully. When my wife suddenly stood up from her place, she seemed to be irritated when I asked her what happened to her. I remember my wife replied that she got ketchup spilled on her shirt. The trio laughed together and then my wife ran towards the kitchen side in order to clean her cell. After about 5 minutes, my young brother also stood up from his place when I asked him to finish his pizza slice. My younger brother replied that he was all full. Well, I didn't think more about it and continued eating. Meanwhile, I got the juice bottle empty. So I decided to go to the kitchen in order to take another bottle of juice from the fridge. But I saw in the kitchen will definitely shock you. I saw my wife having a passionate struggling kiss with my young father. At first, my feet froze and I couldn't believe my eyes. That side was unbearable for me. I got angry and yelled loudly. As soon as my wife and my younger brother found me in the kitchen, they both were like a fish out of water. They were fully shocked and had nothing to say later. My younger brother replied that he was just helping my wife in removing the ketchup on her mouth. At that time, there was no place for my anger. I got extremely furious and then slept with my younger brother. He became angry with me and then left the house. I remember that whole night. I was so angry with my wife that I didn't talk to her the whole night. Although she was trying her best to talk to me and was seducing me by wearing different dresses. But I was just shocked by what I had seen in the kitchen. The next morning when I woke up, my wife presented me with a tray of breakfast and began to explain what happened yesterday. I remember how she was cunningly lying to me, but she never intended to kiss him. She further told me that she considered my younger brother as his own brother. She apologized a lot. The way she was speaking alive with me made me again trapped by her, and I began to regret my thoughts that I was thinking wrong about them. I gave my wife a hug and called my younger brother to come back to the house. I was actually the dumb person. He used to trust both of them a lot. I must advise you guys. Please don't trust anyone soon. I realized everything that day was indeed a turning point of my life that transformed my whole life to the fullest. I remember it was Monday's evening when I got a very important project to be accomplished. But unfortunately, I forgot my laptop at my office. At that time, my wife was at her friend's birthday party while my younger brother was at his academy for study purposes. I had to submit that project urgently within 10 minutes. I had nothing to do that time. So I decided to take my wife's laptop in order to accomplish my work. Although I had not ever taken my wife's laptop without her permission. But that day, I really needed it for my work purposes. At first I wasn't able to log in the password, but then I succeeded in opening her laptop. Well, I entered the Chrome and was shocked to read my wife's cringy search history. I totally ignored it. I was busy with my work. Meanwhile, I caught a sight of notification on my wife's laptop. I was just about to shut down her laptop and I accidentally opened the gallery. I was shocked to see my wife's inappropriate and clueless pictures which she had not ever shared with me. The pictures are all latest. I was confused at that time. I decided to further check out her whole laptop in order to uncover the actual matter and reading the chats and emails. I was shocked to see my wife's conversation and pictures with my own young brother. I was literally not believing my eyes. They both were actually making me fool. I hadn't ever thought that people to whom I love the most could deceive me and ditch me like that. I was extremely angry and disappointed that time. I wanted to kill both of them. At first, I was just about to call them in order to ask about what I had just seen in the laptop. But then a mind-blowing trick appeared in my mind. I decided to give them a lifetime lesson. Well, obviously, it was very difficult for me to bear both of them, but still I remained steadfast. I shifted my wife's need to my phone. I then made a fake girl account on Instagram and messaged my younger brother. He replied to me within 20 minutes after chatting for about 2 days. I finally sent my wife's picture to my younger brother from that fake account. After seeing the pictures, he was all shocked and then began to ask me about my actual identity. I didn't tell him a single word about me and asked him to file those pictures. He started abusing me because he wasn't ready to do so. I prohibited him from telling anyone about those pictures and offered him a good amount on the condition that he would make the erotic pictures of my wife's viral. He was so gritty that he agreed with me immediately. I promised to give him the whole amount. Once the pictures got viral, I remember it was evening when my wife came towards me. She was sweating badly. She was literally shivering when I asked her what happened to her. My wife replied that her pictures had gone viral. When I asked her to home, she sent those pictures. My wife cunningly replied that she was just taking the pictures for her enjoyment, and obviously, I was having the whole evidence and proof. So I succeeded in sending my younger brother to jail on an account of harassment. I remember how my wife was trying to show herself in front of me so that I may not suspect her. But I knew about everything that he was making me fool. The very next day I reached the house along with a gorgeous and beautiful lady. My wife was shocked to see her with me and asked me about her. I simply told her that I just came from church and got married to her. My wife began to blubber loudly, told her at the moment that I knew how she was cheating on me and was having an affair with my younger brother. At first, my wife denied the fact. Later she confessed everything about how she used to give money to my younger brother as well. She further told me that she was in a relationship with my brother before our marriage. But then my brother went to the hostel and they broke up. My wife confessed that when she came to know that her ex-affair partner is my brother, she became extremely happy. They both were in a relationship for a long time. I divorced her at the moment. She became extremely sad, not because I divorced her, but with the fact that I snatched her luxury life from her and realized how stitched her. Well, now I am living a happy and peaceful life with Lily, to whom I just got married. On the other hand, my young brother's career is now fully destroyed because his further education stopped as I stopped giving him a single penny. He is now living with her gambler friends wherever Selena is now working as a waitress in a cafe. She messaged me yesterday and was apologizing. She must be missing her luxurious life with me.